my name is Sandra.
Hi, my name is Santi. We live in France, close to Bordeaux, an hour and a half drive from Bordeaux, and we live on a 12.5 acre farm where since 2008 we have a glamping site and also a permaculture slash agroforestry project where we receive schools and visitors. So welcome to this little presentation. Today the topic for us will be really how for us it is really important to have a healthy soul and a healthy soil. Sorry for the slightly corny subject, but it's more how for us taking care of ourselves and taking care of the place where we are, the land where we live are interconnected. So as some of you might have read on the little description of the video, Sandra and I have lived for many years in a Buddhist monastery, Plum Village, where we learned a lot about meditation and the mindfulness practice. And so when we left the monastery, it was really important for us to take all the things that we learned there and how we could apply it here in our new life, in the normal world, so to speak. And so how the tools we have received there in the monastery and the tools we have received through learning more about permaculture and agroforestry have helped us really to find a new path, a new balance. And this is what we would like to discuss with you today. Okay?
Yeah.
So we bought this piece of land in 2008. So it's a farm with two big houses, a huge stone barn and 12.5 acres of land. And the priority for us was to start the camping business, the tourist business. So we have 9 accommodations. In the summertime we can receive up to 9 families, about 40 people, and so as you can imagine it's a lot. We are very busy, we have long hours, and that's really how we earn our living throughout the year, starting from April until the end of September. And then on the side, really for ourselves to be able to recharge our batteries and take care of ourselves. We love gardening, we love taking care of the land around us, and so we first heard about permaculture about 2008, something like that. And like everybody, we watched some videos, some documentaries, read a lot of books and articles. And it was only in 2013 that we were able to attend, to do our PDC, our permaculture design course, which was very, very interesting and important for us to learn about reading the land and have a better idea on how to apply it here, instead of separated projects which were not really connected. And so after the PDC we had a much better idea, and so we started planting a lot. And like many people, first we were interested in becoming self-sufficient to produce as much food as possible, but because of our activity, because of our tourist business, it became obvious very quickly that we would not have the time to harvest, process and transform all that food. And then slowly we thought maybe it would be more important to really do what we enjoy doing, and it's really to understand how to apply it properly here on our piece of land. And we started going more into the direction of regenerating the land. So where we are here used to be a farmland. It was heavily worked out, plowed, treated, and so for us it was very important to give life back to that piece of land, to heal it, the same way that throughout the years in the monastery we try to heal ourselves and take care of ourselves. We felt it was also really important to take care of this piece of land and bring biodiversity and health back to it. And so the natural direction there was to try to establish self-sufficient, self-maintaining systems. Food forest was the ultimate goal, the ultimate ideal. And so going through different workshops, including some with Martin Crawford, we had then a better understanding and a better idea on how to do it.
Yeah, and at the same time, the project also needed to fit our possibilities. Since we work, we gain our entire living in about 5 months of the year. But so it also it doesn't mean that we only work 5 months a year, but we actually put about a year's work into this 5 months. So we hardly have any time where it comes to the summer. Our land is, our soil is heavy clay, so it's quite a tough one to garden in.
It can get really hot. Like last year we were above 35 degrees Celsius, and for 2-3 days we had almost 42 degrees at one point. So it's very hot, very dry, hardly any rain.
Yeah. And at the same time we really have a vision of when we speak about regenerating the land, that our vision is really about restoring it, you know, where we really sort of get this traditional sense of a food forest. Like, yes, we plant with a lot of edible species, but it also needs to take care of itself. So it doesn't, so the land cannot be dependent on us for its survival. So for example, you know, we were super happy when we came to the whole system of swales, because that has basically saved our lives, because with that the trees can actually survive.
Yeah, and when it comes to swales, for example, something we did not anticipate is that we have a lot of water in the autumn and also in the spring. And so when it starts raining, it's really a lot of water. And so we ended up having swales filled with water, and it was really nice to see. And then in the next weeks, then we started seeing animals coming back. So frogs, salamanders, snakes also. And I remember one day we were just outside standing, talking to friends, and we had so many frogs we ended up having to scream to hear each other, and we thought, oh my god, what have we done? But fortunately, after 1, 2, 3 years, the systems balanced, you know, itself. And so it was also really nice to see how when you can give nature a chance, then nature will, you know, bring more life, more diversity back. And over the, wow, 10 years now, 12 years that we have been really planting. So we've seen a lot of animals, insects, and also flowers coming back into the land. We are fortunate to have 7, 8 different kinds of wild orchids in our big field. So it's always beautiful and, you know, really inspiring to see. Mm. So when it comes to the topic, you know, of the video, healing the soul and healing the soil, for us this is also something very important. In a monastery, the teacher kept on repeating that what you eat, what you consume, is not only what you put in your mouth, but really what you absorb on a daily basis. So it can be also the news, it can be what you see on the television, what you read in the newspapers. And so, as you are aware, there's so much fear, especially now, so much negativity, so much stress and depression. And so when it comes to our lives and what agroforestry and gardening has brought us, it is really being able to have different kinds of foods. There's nothing more pleasant, as you know, to be outside, to plant, to harvest, to walk through, you know, your food forest, to walk through your field, and just to be able to stand there, enjoy the sun, enjoy the wind, and forget about all that negativity, all, you know, the heaviness that is in the world. Of course, we are not trying to close our eyes and pretend it's not there. It's there. It's part of life. But you also remember that there's something else to it. You know, the people always say, "Oh, the glass is half full or is half empty." But through what we have learned, we also remember that it's up to you to fill it up. You know, you don't have to be a victim and say, "Oh well, you know, life sucks and this is what I got." No, you can always change it. And so this is really the big gift that we have received. At any point in time, you can stop, take a breath or two, and go, "Ooh, okay." And then, you know, look around you and see that it's not that bad when you look at it. We are quite fortunate when you look around and, you know, see what other people are struggling with. And so this is also a big lesson that we were able to learn, and a great gift that we have received over the years.
Mm. And maybe as a metaphor in that sense also what the garden has given us. In the monastery we've looked very deeply. It was a really strong healing path to be in a monastery for so many years, and not only our years in a monastery but outside of there also. Santi and me both have had our portion of suffering, which, you know, we know many other stories of many people that we've heard. And we have really both sort of separately chose to look into this and to heal the traumas that we have lived through in our lives, and the monastery has really given us the opportunity to look very deeply in a meditative and a calm way, and to find a place for this suffering into our lives and not allow it to guide our lives anymore. I think that would be, you know, so that it slowly sort of it becomes more of a memory that you live with. But you know, before I did any kind of healing work on my own traumas, I started to see, once I started to look a little bit deeper, that my daily life was basically lived by these traumatic experiences. So I don't know, have a fear of relationships, or I don't know, being afraid of the dark, are just sort of small things, small examples of that. But in a monastery, it remains also, it's an internalized experience which teaches you a lot. The nice thing was that when we started our farm here, that somehow it seems that it starts to internalize much more into our bodies, and by being so daily with the land, how would I say it, is that it seems as if it really sort of starts to anchor inside yourself, and that you can give it even more place. I mean, nothing better to start cut some wood after you had a really difficult conversation on the phone with your family. That's better than meditation.
You shovel better. You shovel much better.
You shovel much better. But at the same surroundings, you know, there's a lot of suffering. You know, animals pass away. We sometimes have, you know, when we have kids coming back from here, they say like, oh, so how's this chicken? Oh yeah, that chicken died. And yeah, and how's that pig? Well, we ate that pig. And, so, you know, but there's a connection to that. Oh, there is a lot of suffering. Nature is really harsh, and at the same time, there's incredible amounts of beauty in there also. And it seems, you know, one of the big sayings of the teacher in the monastery was "no mud, no lotus." So you need the mud in order to, you need the compost, you need the food in order to also grow all these beautiful things. And that is anchored much more. Our farm has really helped us in anchoring these visions, I guess.
So one of the big changes that has happened for me over the years is how do you say it? The energy has been flowing, you know, differently. What I mean by that is that after all these years in the monastery, a lot of your energy is here around the head or around the heart, where you have, you know, big ideals and all, a lot of love and compassion and helping each other. But for many, many years, something was missing. I was not really grounded, you know. And so through gardening, through working outside, sweating, putting your hands in the land, I could feel how suddenly all the energy, instead of being stuck around here, could really be sent back into the ground, and so help you really put your feet down, you know, and be more anchored, be more stable, and much stronger. And so this is something that I've noticed over the years. And also a big difference is that I'm the kind of person who, when it comes to project, unfortunately, that's because of my upbringing, I always see problems first. So when we would come up with a project, the first thing that will come out of my mouth is, yes, but the problem is. And I could see now that from the very beginning, I would put obstacles, or I would identify obstacles in front of me, and most of the time it will prevent me from actually doing something, or, you know, would make things much more difficult. And so this is something I learned from Sandra, which has the opposite way of approaching situations. She would simply say, okay, let's try. And when something comes up, you know, we will figure it out along the way. And yes, of course, there are problems and difficulties and unexpected things along the way, but then we figure it out and, you know, we move forward. And so this is something also that this journey has allowed me to see and to learn. And this is something also I'm very grateful for. So this is what we felt, or we were able to share in this short presentation. I hope that it can give you a better understanding and a peek on who we are and what we try to accomplish here. And so we thank you for this opportunity, and we hope to have the pleasure to meet you guys on another occasion. So stay safe, take good care, and see you soon. Bye.
My name is Sandra.
Hi, my name is Santi. So we live in France. We live in somewhere.